thank you very much for inviting me to do this talk on M-Talks. I've really been excited about coming here today and share my subject with you. And the subject that I'm going to share with you is designing for change. And I've put together a small agenda because I would like to share with you designing for change, designing with people, challenges working with co-creation, and guidelines to work with co-creation. Before I go into the subject, I would just like to set the scene for the subject. The thing is that co-creation really became a buzzword back in 2008, where we experienced turmoil in the world due to the financial crisis. Economies were collapsing, companies were going bankrupt. We experienced that we are more tied together globally than we thought initially. A crisis in one country might hit your own the next day. We acknowledged that we had to change the game. We had to focus on values rather than profit. We realized that we were dependent on one another across countries, across disciplines, in order to stabilize economies, make progress and growth. We needed new tools and new methods to solve the complex problems of the world. We needed to be closer to consumers, and co-creation is one of the tools that we can use. That's how co-creation really came into the game and became a buzzword at that time. And co-creation changes the game of innovation from designing for people rather than designing with people. And what do I mean about that? Well, in the good old industrial days, we designed things for people. We never asked people what they like, really. We just designed things that we thought they might need, put them on the market, and then we hoped people would buy them. But things have changed. Consumers have gotten more conscious, and they want to take part, they want to be engaged, they want to know about the things that come to the market. So the game have changed in the order that now we're designing with people, including them, inviting them into the innovation process. So to make sure that we have a market actually, and that we have all the good inputs that the consumers can share with you. And also I think it's important to say that co-creation, that's a mindset. It's a mindset really, engaging people into the process. People are very resourceful. And companies really ought to take advantage of that. Make use of it, because people really want to share. They want to be part of it, and they want to be included in the process. Engage with them. Consumers, they are very creative, very innovative. They have great knowledge, often more than the companies themselves, about products and services. And don't get mistaken about it. They share it all the time. They have forums all over the internet where they share good and bad stuff about products and services. And if your company are not on your toes, then you might lose great insights into what consumers think about your product. You might lose your ability to improve or change your product, or get the insights to actually innovate it or get new products on the market. So really engage with the consumers, use their knowledge to innovate and to improve. Also, I mean, consumers, they are very good at finding new ways to use a product. They're ways that you have never thought about yourself. So this is also a very good insight for you to actually think about the product could have new dimensions, and you could actually put it on the market in different shapes and colors and stuff like that you have never thought about. So that's another good reason for taking the consumers into account. Also, I mean, consumers, they have demands, and companies have acknowledged that. And it forces them to provide open platforms for innovation. In the good old days, it was like a closed process within the company, but now companies are really inviting people into platforms that are formed for consumers only. because they have acknowledged that they need to co-create with the consumers. They need all the feedback that they can get. They need the insights in order to stay tuned with the products. There's a great example that I would like to share with you. Innovation by You. That's an example. It's a site owned by Coloplast. And I think I admire Coloplast very much because they they are founded on co-creation. And also I think it's so smart of them to make a site for their clients, because the products are very sensitive and they cannot allow the products to fail. So they're really dependent on getting all the feedback that they can have from the clients. And the clients are very observant about how they use the products, how it can be changed, how it can be improved. And this is second to none knowledge when you work in an area like Coloplast does with medical equipment that need to be second to none. And if you want to stay in global competition, you really have to be tuned with your consumers. Another example that I would like to share with you is more fun, and that's about play and about, inviting consumers into an innovation site where you can actually share your ideas for products and that you think are needed on the market. Things that you would like Lego, for instance, to make. So you can actually provide your ideas, you could provide your prototypes, and eventually, other visitors to the site, they will vote on the idea, and if the idea get enough votes, it will be evaluated by the Lego R&D department, and they will test it to the test groups, and if it is a success with the test groups, it might get into production, and the designer of the idea get a full royalty for providing the idea. And I think with Lego, this group of Lego, I think that's probably a very good deal if you get a product to the market. But that's like more fun, and that's a different kind of site. But we also have other sites like Starbucks asking for your favorite coffee, providing recipes, giving feedback on the products. So you have like the very light kind of consumer contact over to the contact that you have with the Coloplast clients, which is very different. Also, you'll see that co-creation within an organization, that's a growing thing. And the example I've chosen to show you here today is IBM. Because IBM has realized that within the organization, with more than 400,000 employees, they have a great knowledge hub. Because most of the employees, they are in daily contact with customers, suppliers. They get all the information about the products fail and how it can be improved and how it can be changed. And as you can see here, it actually resulted in an innovation jam in 46,000 ideas. That is quite a lot. The thing is how to get that down to 1 and 2 ideas. That's a whole different game. But it just says something about within an organization you have great innovation potential, and you just have to make use of it. And I think another example that's very good to bring up here is that Procter & Gamble, they have a goal saying that 50% of all innovation should come from the outside, meaning that it is the consumers bringing in ideas that they want to produce. But there are also like challenges working with co-creation. Co-creation is a very resourceful tool, but it takes patience and practice to exercise it. And I've just highlighted a few examples of how it can get very difficult when you mix consumers, suppliers, R&D, research to co-create. For one, it's difficult to define a common goal and objectives. What is the real problem here? How to define that? How to agree on that? And also, within different kind of cultures, one word might mean different things. And another thing is, who owns the idea? And finding the nugget, like within the MBI case, that's also another thing. But that shouldn't, prevent you from starting in co-creation, because the potential is so huge. So get started now. And the thing is, how to get started is start in small steps. Don't bring in a big project. Start with a small project. Work with the same goal in mind. Make sure that you have the same goal. Co-create on a very specific case. Make it a habit in the company to co-create. So it's just very natural to take the learning in. Provide time and places for co-creation initiatives so that it's a custom thing for you to do with your clients and with your employees. That's all. Thank you very much for listening.